Do y'all know what all these ribbons mean here, guys? You were on the Tennessee. Does anybody here know where the Tennessee was in Pearl Harbor? Have you ever heard of the ship, the Tennessee? Is Tennessee right next to the...
Tennessee was right next to the West Virginia and just forward to the Arizona.
And the Arizona, of course, was the big ship that blew up. And how many boys died?
I'll make sure you get this one back.
We lost
Thank you
around
again.
1177 on the Arizona alone.
How many was lost on the Oklahoma? That was another ship.
That's another ship. I don't know the exact count on the Oklahoma, but it's quite a bit. Overall, we lost quite a few in total. We lost, what?
Almost 3,000.
Yeah, almost 3,000 total.
And how old were you that day?
I just turned 18.
He was just about the age y'all would be when you graduated from high school.
Yeah.
And he was out there on the ship working. And you went from a kid working on a ship to being a man at war, didn't you? And what was it like those next few days there on that?
Well, he still was in a nightmare a little bit.
Sure.
You couldn't figure out what was really happening. And all the ships blowing up, all the bodies on the water, and we're trying to rescue a bunch of them, get them out of the water, and all that stuff. When you're in there trying to get them, Arizona's on fire, and her fire catches our fantail on fire, catches the one next to us, catches her fantail on fire. And we're trying to rescue a bunch of men and get oil and fire off the ship, ours was on fire. The oil and fire was moving forward on the ship, and when it was moving forward, why, you had bodies in the water when the Oklahoma, when the Arizona exploded. You had bodies all over the water when she exploded. And everybody was out there trying to rescue bodies. In the process of trying to rescue bodies, oil and fire is going to burn up a lot of them. So in the process of seeing a bunch of them there, how they moved a bunch of us from my ship over to the West Virginia. Now the West Virginia was tied up to us. We were inboard, she was outboard. She took a beating where we took bomb hits, she took torpedoes. And in the process, they sent a bunch of the men off my ship over there to help them boys because they needed help. And we was over there where we could help them. And our boatswain sends us over there to help them. He tells us to go over there and whatever the officers tell us to do it and do it exactly as they say. So we get over there and we get on West Virginia that we're tied up next to. Some of the officers started telling us what they wanted to do. And in the process, why, we have a man on the West Virginia that we're tied up to. When the ships exploded, the Arizona exploded, it burned our fantail, it caught our fantail on the tires, the Arizona tire. So they was trapped. This one man was trapped in his compartment. He couldn't get out. They had portholes on the old ships. They didn't have them on the new one. And you could see in there that he's trapped in there. There ain't nobody else in there but him. And he's screaming for help. He tries to get out of that porthole. You can't get that. You can't get yourself out of that porthole. The porthole's about like that compared to your full life. And he's screaming for help. And our boats in the process have sent a bunch of us over there to help them men fight fire, rescue. We need to get the men out of the water. And so he just hollered, somebody take that man out of his misery. I expect all of you understand what that man really meant when he asked for somebody to take him out of his misery.
Y'all know, you told me something one day that really impressed me. When all that happened to you and you were 18 years old, one time you said, hey, I didn't think I was going to live to be 19.
That's
so
right.
Every day since that time has been a gift, hasn't it? That's how our son sees it, because Mr. Curry helped me a lot when our son was in service. He would talk to me and share stories that would make me feel better about waiting for him to come home. And when you have that kind of experience where one day you were alive and the next day you could be dead, but you aren't, you know, because he had a similar experience. I told you about his thing with the trucks blowing up. Caleb considers his birthday to be the day after that battle, you know.
Well,
And
see,
so
it went an incident on there. We had some men that's going to be burned alive from the oil in the fire off of the ship's on fire. And they're going to be burned alive. So I was a good swimmer as a kid because I was born and raised in that old Bosque River down here. So I hollered for help, hollered for some of the boys on the ship. I said, I need 2 good boys that knows how to swim good and join me. And they said, what do you want? I said, we got 3 men out there. I thought it was 4 originally, and originally it was 3, but we had men trapped. And I said, we got to get them out of the water. If we don't, they're going to be burned alive. One of them hollered, well, the fire is already up there, and the smoke's coming out. Said, they're right there where it's burning. Said, I told them, dive through the oil and fire. Cover up your face and nose and eyes. Dive through the oil and water and swim underwater till you clear that oil and fire. And you swim underwater, you can tell where you're at. You can see, you can tell where you're at. And when we cleared the oil and fire, we come up, and each one of us got one of those men, carried them around the bows of our ship. We thought originally we could get them up on ours, but we're sitting high and dry, and it's too high, and we couldn't get them to see us, and we couldn't get them up there. So we started hollering for help on Fort Island, and then the ship forward of us was the Maryland. And she's sitting high and dry like us. The ship next to her has already been hit bad, because she was the Oklahoma. And we got there, we got help, and we told them to get them up on Fort Island, take them to their sick bay and put them in their sick bay and get them help, because they got to get them up there or they're going to be burned alive.
So you saved those 3 men?
That's how we saved 3 men.
See?
To this day, we don't know who they are. We don't know if they lived or died. We have no idea. But we did not leave them in the water to be burned alive. We could not have did that.
Enough about, I teach y'all about American heroes. We talk about George Washington, we talk about Martin Luther King, we talk about Frederick Douglass, we talk about all these people that changed the way America is. And all year long we'll talk about people that changed the way America is. And I'll tell you about my son. He paid his part to keep the world safe for you after 9/11. But we are honored today to have Mr. Curry here with us to accept this plaque.